What's going on, everybody? My name's Chris. Welcome to my channel. This is part 11 of my acoustic guitar build. First guitar I ever made, and it's from scratch. So what I'm doing today is trying to fix my error from the last video where I totally messed up the neck angle. So if you want to see that, you may want to go back and watch that video. There should be a card or a link at the end of the video or in the description. So, and then I've got to fix the neck. It's also not centered with the body, so hopefully I can get that taken care of today. Let's get back to it. So what I'm trying to do is I have the line marked. The gap was back here. So I'm just slowly working down to that line, and then if I need to, I can take a file and try to file it straight. Once I get to a stopping point, I'll check it in the jig. And if I need to make some more adjustments, I can. All right, so let's see what it's done. The gap back here was about like that much instead of like that, and it was touching up here. So now it's pretty much almost flat. So I'm gonna go ahead and lock it in place, take my router without adjusting it. I'm gonna be taking a pass at the same depth it was before, but I just remembered I have to modify this template. The width of the template out here is enough to get past the edge of the tenon. So I need this width all the way down. So I need it to be a straight line and then come around, straight line up, so that so I can cut all that away with the router bit. So I need to do that first. So that worked pretty well. It's just left a couple little flaps of wood. So that'll be just fine. It comes well past the edge of the tenon, so I shouldn't have any issues from now getting all of the material off of the tenon. And just a shot from above with the neck installed, you can see that it clearly goes around the whole tenon, so I don't have to worry about any extra bits of wood left over. So I'm gonna get the router and make a pass without adjusting the router depth. I'm not going to plunge it any farther. I'm going to leave it at the setting it was during the last pass that I made in the last video. And then we'll just take it back out, put it in the guitar, and see what kind of adjustment we got out of that. Okay. Alright, if I place this flat on this neck, it should clear the whole sound hole. It should. Still hitting the sound hole, no what? Maybe it didn't adjust it as much as. I'm gonna put the guitar back up here on this jig and see if I can get any more adjustment out of it. Let me try again. 3 millimeters. I need to get to 3.5, so I do need to adjust it some more. I don't know how it changed. I mean, I thought I was at 3.5 before. Let me make another adjustment. So this needs to go back this way. That looks more like 3.5. So let me put the neck back in here, make another pass, and then I'll meet you again when we check the angle. All right. All right. We're finally getting somewhere. All right, I made the other pass. All right, and I put this on here, and it was still hitting the sound hole. And I was thinking, I don't know how else to get any more angle out of it. I mean, I've got it referenced perfectly like it's supposed to be. So then I took it back out. What I realized is when I cut, it looks like I cut about another 1/8 inch off the back of this. But there's a little lip on the tenon sticking up, which is at the old angle. So what it was doing when I pushed it in here, I had it resting on top of that little lip at the back. So it was keeping it forward. I had to make sure that when I put it in there, I don't rest it on that little lip. I'll need to cut that off with a chisel. I'll go in there and trim that little piece off. But it looks like apparently I cut my tenon too short when I trimmed it. So there is some play in there a little bit. So I just made sure I had it all the way down. It's all the way back, press flat. Then I take this flat. Wait a second, I just had it. So if I set this flush on the neck, there it goes. It clears the sound hole. It looks about the same as it does up there. So now I'm getting somewhere, all right? By the way, you'll have to excuse my hair and my beard. I haven't done anything to it. If it looks all jacked up, I don't even know what it looks like. So let me get a longer straight edge out and then measure here at the bridge and see what it looks like. All right, I got my premium straight edge out here, but it's actually kind of heavy, so I really don't want to drop it. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to hold this without dropping. It's looking like 5. It's supposed to be 3.5. Then again, I don't know if that's even straight. That one actually looks like 3.5. It looks like it's right at it. I guess that piece of junk's just not straight. Can't be. There's no way. 3.5. Looks like 3.5. I think I'm right. Can't believe it. What I've got to do is put this back in the jig, and then I need to put the router back in, plunge all the way down, and take a pass. But first, I'm going to put some blue tape around here just to help prevent any tear out as much as I can. I've got some pretty good tear out on this side, and I'm a little concerned about it. So that's what I'm going to do. Blue tape, hope there's no tear out, make another pass. I made the final pass, trimmed off the tenon at the back where it was sitting on that little hump. It looks pretty flat on this side. You can see I've got quite a good gap to go down there. But it looks like my angle's still good. I didn't change anything, so I'm assuming it's still 3.5. So now I need to see and make sure that it's actually centered. It's not centered, so the neck has to come this way. But at least the angle looks good, so I'm happy about that, alright? So I guess I gotta start working on the fitment here and doing some flossing and stuff like that. So, and you can see I'm kind of chiseling out around the tenon just to make it to where when I'm sanding, or what Robbie calls flossing, it won't take nearly as long. I'll just be removing material here. So let's get this on the guitar and then start trying to floss. Something else I wanted to point out real quick is the body on the top. There's got all these brown lines that have appeared. The one thing I noticed is that the lines have only appeared where I didn't put shellac. Well, maybe there's one right here on the edge, but I don't see those lines where I shellacked around the edge of the body before I did the binding. So it's mainly showing up right here in the middle where I did not shellac. So what's up with that? Does anybody know? Is that from humidity changes? Wood not being protected? Maybe I should have shellacked that part. Okay, so what I did was took my straight edge and lined it up with the center line on the body, above the sound hole and below the sound hole, and laid it across the neck. And it is off, I don't know, probably like 3 to 4 millimeters. Let me show you. All right, so there's the center line right next to the edge of the straight edge. That's about how much off center I am. So I need to shave that off the bottom of the right side of the neck. So let me get started on that. All right, this is going to take quite a good while. I can tell you already. It's going to take quite a bit longer than what I thought. So let me work on this and I'll get back with you. Well, here we are again. Can you guess what I did? Well, I found out that you got to be careful when you're flossing, otherwise you'll change the angle of the neck. So my neck angle's off again. I guess it was sanding more on the front than it was on the back. So I've still got about a 1/16 of an inch before the left side of the neck touches the body. So what I'm going to do is make one pass with it I've got it locked where it's just touching, and then I'll go down a 1/16 of an inch and just do the right side of the neck. I'm going to stay probably about halfway away from the between the tenon and the edge, and then I'm going to just try to ease the transition between those 2 points and see if that works. I hope it does. I can come down a little bit farther and then take any off the front, just a tad bit farther. I'm going to do that and I'm going to come back to you. So there's a step here from high spot to the low spot. I've taken the router on the angle jig all the way halfway. I've got some blue tape on here and some blue tape back here, and I'm just trying to ease that transition. It's probably going to take a while. So it's going to take a while. I'll come back and let you know what happens. Yet another update. Found if I take my plane and keep the toe, is that the toe or the heel? Whatever it is, flat on there, I can kind of transition with my plane a little bit. I also figured out that even if there's a little gap at the back, it should be okay because I should be able to cover that with my heel cap. That's just the thoughts going through my head at this point. So I'm gonna keep working. Okay, I can say now that I have the angle fixed again. It's 3.5 millimeters. I did find out that this little ruler is not exactly straight because it clears the sound hole there, but if I turn it around, it looks closer. So I got the precision one and I put it up against there and measured, and it is 3.5 millimeters. So I know that that setting on that jig is good. I didn't touch any of the outside. All right, I only shaved away right here on the back. I left this and I just did a little shaving here, tried to ease it down. But when I realized that I could use my plane to do that, that helped out a lot. And then when I realized in my head that it doesn't really matter if I have any gaps showing back here, in the middle right here, because I'm going to be putting a heel cap and I could go flush up against the guitar and it's going to cover the gaps. So that was like a realization for me. I don't know if that's right, but I've got such a crazy angle here, like a slope, that I've got to do something, and I don't think I'll be able to get it exactly perfect on the back. So I may have to have some gaps back there and then cover it with a heel cap. All right, the only thing remaining is there's about a 32nd of an inch gap still on this side that needs to go down, and I'm just pretty much touching on this side. I'm probably about as flush as I'm going to get on that side, because it turns out that I didn't get it exactly flat this way either. It's kind of like a lump there too. So it is what it is. But I think I could trim a little bit more off. I mean, I'm talking about just putting that router down to the touches, don't adjust it, and then make a pass and check until this is touching on this side. So that's what I'm going to do. And before I make that pass with the router, I did want to verify what the centering looks like, because I completely forgot about the neck this way. I've got it lined up on the line, and I'll tell you what, it's like right over that center line. So that makes me happy. Okay, so I've spent another hour flossing and chiseling and, you know, checking the angle and checking the centering and trying to get this gap out of this side. So what I realized that when I was flossing, I'm pulling this way. I realized finally that I'm just pulling up a little bit, so I've been curving up this very edge. If I turn it sideways, it's actually touching there, but it curves up on the very end. This is actually wider than it's going to be, so I'm taking probably about a good 1/4 inch off of here, off the side, heavy 1/4 inch. So it's going to be around where that's touching at. So I think I'm going to be good on this side once I actually remove the excess. All right, my neck angle's good. The centering of the neck is good. And then if you look at this side, it's pretty good, no gap up here. But once you get back here, there's that tiny gap. And I've realized it's because the sides angle down. They're not straight, they're angling down a little bit. So, I mean, I would be cutting this heel off to about there. So maybe that'll minimize, you won't see the gap under here. But I think I've gone as far as I can go with the neck at the state it's in. All I know to do at this point is just to move forward with the next step and just see how it works out. And I can't remember if that next step is the fretboard or if there's anything else I have to do on the neck. All right, so I have to look at the videos. I'm pretty sure it's the fretboard, but I'm not exactly completely sure. So actually, maybe actually joining the neck, bolting it on, which I'll do that. I'll bolt it on, but then I'm going to take it back off to shape it. Whatever the next step is, I hope that you join me in the next video. Thank you so much for watching this. I can't tell you how excited I am and how glad I am that I was able to save this project. And even if it doesn't come out perfect, I'm going to be happy with it. Even if there are a little bit of gaps here and there, it's my first guitar and I'm going to be happy, all right? I'm just so excited that I didn't have to scrap the project. That's what I felt like doing, honestly, that day. I was so frustrated. I was like, start over from scratch, but I'm glad I didn't. I've got all of the angles good and I'm ready to move on. So this was by far the most difficult part of the build so far. So thank you so much again for watching. If you notice that you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. But you don't have to, you can do what you want. Thanks for watching anyway. I'll see you next time. Bye.